Good afternoon, my friends. This is Paul, and today I'm going to be reviewing to you the 10th Challenger Pack in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC. This one contains Kazuya from Tekken, or as I like to call him, and we'll be referring to him henceforth, Kazoo-ya, because he's Booyah Kazoo-ya, like something the Yellow Kazoo would say. So, Kazuya is definitely the fighter that I was probably anticipating the least, besides Terry, as both of them during the reveal trailers, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, who? And after all of this, it definitely did not convince me to give their home series a try any further. But let's break them down and see why I don't particularly like them, but maybe you will because you're different than me for some reason. So first of all, Kazuya's moveset is insane. He even has diagonal smash attacks, and there's certain inputs you can do on the left stick to have even more moves, and he even has a certain type of running animation that's exclusive to if you do a certain command that's from the Tekken series. I'm definitely not going to go in depth about all of this because that was the same reason why it was really hard for me to adjust to Ryu, Ken, and Terry. But I would think that Kazuya is a little bit more approachable than Terry because it seems second nature which direction you push the stick. Like if you want to hit an opponent upward, just tilt it upward. So it seems like it's more natural. And not only that, but none of the combinations that Sakurai showed in the presentation seem to be anywhere near as complicated as what you would have to do with those other characters. One thing that sets Kazuya apart is that he turns into a dragon for some of his smash attacks, which allows for kind of a Korin-esque feel to his character. However, in his special moves, believe it or not, that's where I think he's even more bland than he is in his special move, or in his smash attacks. So first of all, his neutral special is that he shoots a beam out of his eyes. That's kind of like Rob's special move. And this can be aimed if you press the control stick left and right, but it's kind of basic. It's just an eye beam kind of thing, just for shooting opponents from a distance. It tends to be more powerful if you're only hitting one opponent, but it's really good if you want to keep your distance from fighters, as Kazuya is a fist fighter, so of course he would get up close and personal, but just in case you're afraid of really tough Little Mac type opponents, this move can be for you. For his side special, he more or less does the equivalent of Ridley's skewer, where he smashes his fist through an opponent and that causes them to basically be stunned and fall to the ground for a bit. This move can easily backfire, and if it misses, it leaves Kazuya wide open, so definitely keep an eye on the timing of that. For his up special, he grows his demon wings and flies into the air. This doesn't have nearly as much of a hit effect as the other fighters' up specials do. It does a little bit, but from my understanding, it's more for just straight recovery than an actual upward smash attack. And finally, for his down special, which I don't seem to be able to get to work very often, he does an uppercut, which seems a bit out of place for a down special at first, but if you connect with the uppercut, then he grabs the opponent, launches them into the air, and slams them onto the ground, similar to Bowser's side special. Again, this involves very specific timing, and you have to be basically on top of your opponent to do it. And I found that overall just sticking to his smash attacks seemed to work better. His combo moves are really good too, as he seems to have an infinite supply of moves, even if it takes him a while to get out of combos. Maybe they'll fix that in a patch, maybe it's closer to Tekken where the character can't get out of an animation too quickly. I don't really know. Before I get into his final smash, I want to briefly touch on his Rage mode, which occurs when you get to 100% damage or more. Basically, it's like Sephiroth's Black Wing, where you gain special boons if you stink too much. And this allows for some of his moves to be souped up, and it also allows him to do an exclusive move. I never got this to work. No matter how hard I tried, I could not figure out what was the difference between a rage state and a regular state. Maybe it's just because I was trying so hard to keep track of everything Sakurai was saying in the presentation that I'm like, okay, down, up, sorry, what? These are such weird, unintuitive controls. So, if you guys can figure it out, good for you. But one thing I did notice was that he seemed to get significantly more powerful. But the rage doesn't last forever. It once you attempt to do the certain move that must not be named, then it'll be gone until you lose a stock. So in a one stock battle, you really want to be careful about how you use rage. For his final smash, he shoots beams out of his eyes again like his neutral special, but this time if it hits, it triggers, you guessed it, a cinematic final smash where he shoots several beams out of his eyes and hits all the opponents, similar to Samus's final smash with the arm cannon. Now for his stage, this is called the Mishima Dojo, which is basically a Japanese temple of worship training area-esque stage that looks pretty but doesn't have a whole lot going on in typical Tekken fashion. However, the walls and the ceiling can be broken in proportion to how you launch the opponent and how much weight they have. They'll eventually repair themselves, but while they're not, they make for the blast zone to be really darn close to the edge of the screen, so it can lead to some pretty amusing KOs if you time your attacks just right. Now, as far as the spirits and the classic mode route, they don't really mean a whole lot if you haven't played Tekken, as the spirits are kind of like, okay, who are all these guys? And for his classic route, he fights against opponents that use their fists primarily as weapons. I assume the final battle is some kind of nod to a Tekken final boss, because you face one version. I suppose I really shouldn't say that. That might be a spoiler, but I'll just say that if you're tired of all the Master Hand, Crazy Hand battles, you'll be glad to know that Kazuya is not one of those people, and he has something that's pretty original, and I think Aaron Nitmar, when he does his classic mode route analysis videos, will be pleasantly surprised with how different Kazuya's route is. Now let's talk about the most controversial aspect of the whole pack, the music. I found that this is the most underwhelming and annoying selection of music that I have ever seen from a roster. I could suffer through at least some of Terry's music because Terry had 50 songs that came with him. Kazuya has 39, which I assume was really easy to get the rights to because Bandai Namco made the Tekken games and they also developed Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a game. But man, was it hard listening to those tracks. The best I can say is that some of them were okay, but there were maybe like 2 tracks in the entirety that I actually liked, and the rest were just really annoying, either fighting game-esque sounding music, or it was just too rockish. There's even one that was a yodeler, and I'm like, I've had enough of listening to Hank Williams from my childhood. I want some more gaming music. So I found that I usually love it when fighters come with new music, and usually I'm not disappointed when a new character is revealed if they have good music. Hence why, even though I never played Final Fantasy VII, I was still really excited for Sephiroth, because Final Fantasy has some amazing music. Unfortunately, the same can't be said of Tekken. As far as Kazuya as a character, he's alright. I think I would prefer playing as him more than Terry and Ryu, because his inputs don't require as much precision, but he's also kind of slow and clunky, and I feel like in the heat of a more intense match against, say, my brothers or someone better than me at Smash, I would rather play as maybe Sephiroth if I really want a powerhouse character, or stick to Banjo and Kazooie just because they were my #1 picks. So overall, I think that unless you get this with the Challenger Pack, because you've already bought the Fighter's Pass, or if you're a diehard fan of Tekken, I think you can safely skip this character. I definitely felt like it was a very underwhelming addition, and unless you really want more spirit battles, a new classic mode stage, and that dojo stage, then you're not really getting a whole lot here. I'm really sorry to say that, but let's just hope that the last Challenger Pack manages to pack a significant punch, because this one failed to stick the landing. I did a terrible pun to match with kind of a lame character. So with that, thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or critiques, or if I left anything out, please let me know in the comment section. And until the next time, keep the faith, stay epic, God bless, and maybe we'll get Phoenix Wright as the last character? Bye!